I have a confession to make, people. I am a avid Alita fan, hardcore Alita fan. It's opening week for Captain Marvel, opening weekend, and I'm going to see Captain Marvel. So last night I was hanging out with my wife, having some fun, just watching some shows and stuff, and I get a text coming in, and I see it's from my brother-in-law. I'm like, oh cool, what's he got to say? And he says, do you have plans to go see Captain Marvel this weekend? And I was like, oh, no, not really. Do you? And he's like, yeah, I was thinking of going to see it and stuff. So he wanted to go see the movie with me, is what the point was. And I was like, you know what? Why not? Let's go do this. And I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not 100% uncurious about the movie. I feel like I know what to expect. I don't have super high hopes for it, but I saw a review that was kind of favorable to it. It wasn't saying it was a great movie, but it was, it was saying it was alright. There were some good things to it. So I don't know, and it's kind of tough, being an Alita fan. The whole hashtag Alita challenge. Oh goodness, this book is so amazing, the movie's so amazing. Go check out Alita, please, because you guys gotta offset me going to Captain Marvel. But no, the thing is, is when it comes down to it, whatever political ideals you have, which I'm not against. I'm not like hardcore with the political stuff anyways, but or whatever, views you have, when it comes down to it, family is the most important. And I wanted to go hang out with my brother-in-law, and that's really what it's all about. And hey, I do like Marvel. I'm curious to see what kind of things, Captain Marvel's going to have to kind of lead into Endgame and stuff like that. And hey, you never know, maybe it's a good movie, maybe I'm wrong. So we'll see. Alright guys, so I went and saw the movie, and it was a movie. It was pretty good. Well, I mean, it was decent. I didn't expect a lot. I guess I got a little more than I expected. I think that everybody did a good job. The only thing, obviously the thing that, people, the kind of the political type of stuff that people are kind of harping on and talking about, is, it's there, and it's weird and awkward, like, it's forced, it's not subtle, and it doesn't, like, I heard another reviewer bring up the point that, if you're going to contrast it with Wonder Woman, or, I would say Alita Battle Angel, of course, if you're going to contrast it with other movies that have strong female roles and, celebrate, feminism to a certain, I shouldn't say feminism, but celebrate women, this was not the subtle approach. This was not, a graceful approach. It was kind of like an injected approach. So it was like I actually enjoyed her character. In the beginning, she was a strong female protagonist, and she had humor, which I thought was really cool. And she had like an interesting relationship with the person who was training her. My phone is like doing this weird autofocus thing all of a sudden. Hopefully that changes it. Whoa. So, I think she had an interesting relationship with Jude Law that was kind of fun at first, and but then there was like these little like jabs, like almost like little feminism jabs, like added in and stuff. And I don't have a problem with I don't have like any issues, like I'm cool with feminism or whatever. I think that sometimes it just feels awkward and forced and preachy, and that I don't think I like from anything. Like, I'm a Christian, and I love my faith. I obviously I believe in what I believe in, and there's a lot of Christian movies, music, things like that I kind of hate. I don't hate it, but like I don't love it, that's for sure. And it's because it's like in your face, preachy, kind of awkward, kind of it's just too much, it's too like Christian-y, and it's just like there's a lot of things, like I'll always talk to my wife about cheesy Christian music, because there's so much of it, but there's so much good stuff too, and it's a shame because because there's a lot of cheesy Christian movies or music or whatever that is a little bit too much in your face about things. Because of that, the stuff that is actually good gets overlooked, and it's a shame. And it's the same thing probably maybe with the feminist agenda. I don't know. I don't want to get political, but at the same time, like I think on a weekend where not feminism, but like Women's Day is supposed to be celebrated, women are supposed to be celebrated, I think something like Alita Battle Angel or I can't speak on Wonder Woman because I haven't seen it yet. I really want to see it. I've been wanting to see it for a while now, and it's just kind of when we're deciding on what to watch, I'm not the only one involved in the decision. Let's put it that way. So it's fine, but I'm definitely going to see that soon, hopefully. And I've heard that it's got kind of a more subtle celebrate women and how awesome they are touch to it, and I think that's awesome. And again, with Alita though, it's not in your face. There's no like political agenda. It just is a powerful female role. So in Captain America, it kind of seems like they want to do that, but they also want to be a little bit like in your face about it, or I don't know. I'm not really good at kind of talking about this kind of stuff, so I'm not really sure, but it just wants to be in there a little bit. And also the story, as far as like the storyline, it's really kind of hard to understand what's going on. Like, I don't know much about Captain Marvel to begin with, so it was kind of good that I kind of went in there fresh, I think, to see if it's a good story or not. Like, did I get it? Did it come across to me? And the origin is kind of this weird type of, like this kind of person who doesn't know where they're from exactly. I don't know. It's weird, and you don't kind of know where they're from. And the beginning, the big thing I noticed coming out of the film was the beginning was kind of really flashy, exciting and stuff, and I saw it in 3D, and one thing I want to say is the 3D was actually really cool. A lot of people say that Alita 3D was really cool, and actually I saw that in 3D and in regular as well, and I actually didn't think the 3D was any good addition. There wasn't much there that was awesome in Alita, but in in Captain America, I actually enjoyed the 3D a lot. There was a lot of cool things of like ships going away really far into the distance, and like missiles and stuff, and all these things like coming at you and going back into the distance. And it just was used more, I think, and it was used to a pretty good effect, I think. I enjoyed it. I mean, that's not really the most important critique, because most people won't see it in 3D, so it doesn't really matter. But the visuals were spectacular, and, you know, seeing Captain Marvel in action was actually really fun and awesome. I loved it. You know, but the thing is again, there was a lot of action in the beginning, and then there was action at the end, but the middle, like, I started falling asleep a couple times. Like, it was just for like a few seconds, and it was just like snore fest, you know, in the middle for a while, a lot. And it's a shame, because there was a lot of nice, tender things and interesting things that were happening kind of during that middle point, but it was like a good, like, the biggest chunk of the movie was that middle part. And then when they got to like kind of this end where she's fighting this other person in a room type of thing, that was kind of weird and not fun. That action scene I was actually like kind of bored with. Like, I was like, I could do without this, and who is this person she's fighting? And that's another thing that I heard a reviewer mention was, you know, the villain situation was kind of problematic. Like, you don't really know, like, she's fighting the two different alien races. I don't want to give spoilers, but there's one person who's in the beginning and in the end who's like probably meant to be the main villain, but it's like you only see them in the beginning and the end, and it's just really weird. Like, well, I guess you see them throughout the whole movie, but it's like not in a way, you feel like they're not there through most of the movie, and then they kind of pop in at the end, and it's like, oh, this big situation. You know, I don't know, it just wasn't that great. But what I did actually enjoy going to the movies, and I enjoyed the movie, actually. You know, I did enjoy, you know, Brie Larson. You know, I think she's a good actress, and you know, I think she did decent. I think the script is probably maybe where it fell apart. You know, they were trying to push kind of the feminism thing. I mean, it wasn't like always there, you know. The thing is there were other aspects to the character that were really interesting and fun, but then they'd put that little tiny like feminism thing in there, and it would like take me out, you know, and it'd be like, why? Like, it doesn't have to be that harsh or something. Like, and they didn't like build it all up. Like, the thing is I would love to see a movie that has that strong feminist agenda type of thing, if it's told well, you know, if it's and if it's like that's the main theme of the movie or something like that. Like, to me, they could make a great movie like that, but this is like kind of injecting it into a movie that otherwise doesn't need it, you know. It just, you can do it in more subtle ways that is more interesting and more powerful, I think. And like, it wasn't set up in a way where it's like, oh, I'm sticking it to the man right now, because she actually seemed to like all the men in her life, and you know, it wasn't even like she was sticking it to, it was like she was just sticking it to the men for women. Like, it was an agenda. It wasn't, to me, part of the story, you know. It was weird. So, and she was very likable at times, and then at other times it was just like, they're just pushing it, you know. So, I don't know. Take of that what you will. I don't know. It wasn't, I enjoyed the movie. I'm glad I saw it. I noticed that I almost feel like this would have been better if it was like a Nick Fury movie. Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury was pretty cool in this, and a lot of people are commenting on his relationship with the cat, which I thought was kind of goofy, actually. I thought it was a little too much, but you get the point, and it is an important part of the movie. And it's funny, and you know, I don't know, it's interesting. But I like it seemed like I got more information about Samuel L. Jackson, or about Nick Fury in this, and that was kind of sometimes the more interesting part. I mean, Marvel, Carol Danvers was interesting, but I just feel like they could have done it way better. I wanted her to be more interesting throughout the movie. Like, when I first of all, the first kind of sequence was just confusing. But when I finally got to the point where she was kind of with her, you know, mentor or whatever, like, that part started to be interesting, and I liked their relationship. I thought it was cool. And, you know, I saw things in the character that I thought was cool, but you don't really know what her motive is throughout this movie. It's just problematic, you know, plot wise and story wise, and you know, I don't know. I'll be curious to hear what you guys think. I mean, a lot of my audience, I don't know, like, I think I probably have a mixed bag in my audience of people who would like to see this and who wouldn't. A lot of people are Marvel fans out there, and comic fans, but some people are more like not into this movie, so whatever, it is what it is. I had a good time hanging out with my brother-in-law. I'm really glad he asked me, because we hadn't hung out in a long time, so that was really cool. And that's kind of the main reason why I went to see this movie. I probably would have seen this movie when it came out, like if it came out on Netflix or something. But that's about the extent of it. But, you know, since he was excited about it, I got excited about it too a little bit and wanted to see it. And, you know, I did see some reviews that I thought made me, like, a little bit interested. Do you need it to see the Endgame? I mean, if you're a completionist, yes. If not, I don't know. I guess, you know, I guess it's helpful, but I don't know. If Endgame relies on this movie, then I think that's going to be a weakness of Endgame, in my opinion. Now, I don't know the story of Endgame, you know, from the comics or anything, so maybe there's things I'm missing, you know. But, you know, I don't think it doesn't seem like it will be needed. But, you know, if you want to see it, go see it. You know, let me know what you think. I'd be curious to hear. There's definitely cool parts to this movie. Like, the action scenes are really spectacular, and, you know, how powerful she is like really cool, and the way they display those powers is really cool. It's a little weird, like, it's almost like she's, you know, in the Super Mario invincibility like mode for a while there, and, you know, it's fun, but at the same time it's like hard. There's not like any emphasis on the consequences to having that much power, so there's like places where they could have put more story into it that would have been interesting. Her relationship with her friend, and her friend's daughter, kind of from her past, that was really interesting. But again, it just seemed like it wasn't important. Like, I mean, it was important, but it was like, I wanted it to be more important, I guess. It was like the most important part of the movie, but at the same time, it didn't seem like it was tied to the plot that much. I mean, it was technically tied to the plot, but it wasn't in a way that I felt it, like that I felt like it needed to be there, or that I felt that either of the two, like, because the thing is everything that happens in a story should drive the plot, and, you know, especially with the characters, and everything should be tied in together. There should be no parts in a story that don't, like, contribute to the whole of the story, you know. And to me, it's not about cutting that part out. It's about just writing a better story. And I don't think I really knew what was happening in this story, or what the point of it was, really, unfortunately. And it is unfortunate, because I wanted to enjoy it even more than I did, you know, even though I kind of have some preconceived things of like, I like Alita and I want, Alita to win this week in the box office or whatever. But all that aside, I don't care. When it comes down to it, I just wanted to hang out with my brother-in-law. And so I don't really, family comes before most things. So, that's kind of where I came out with this. I did enjoy myself. I did enjoy the movie. I definitely don't need to see it again. If it's on Netflix, I might see it again, but I might not. Probably won't. There's a lot of other cool, comic movies that are way better than this. So, it is what it is. But, I did like Brie Larson. I'd like to see her in other things. I have seen her in other things. I just don't remember that much, but she does seem like a good actress. Yeah, I don't know. It was a cool experience. I'm really curious to hear what you guys thought. Let me know in the comments, and yeah.